There is an issue, um, with everyone and the way they're doing Kyrie, like trying to trip him up, trying to get him in trouble, trying to make him say things.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis recap the NBA Week in Review, discuss early season coaches on the hot seat, provide advice to basketball coaches, as well as previewing the upcoming week in college and pro basketball. Welcome to today's show.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, let's stay with world-class championship wrestling, the Michael Hayes to my Terry Bam Bam Gordy, the Fabulous Freebirds, because I enjoy the territory show on Vice. The icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, I always like saying Terry Bam Bam Gordy because a certain member of your family reminds me of Bam Bam with how smooth he moves around the ring. And I told you that the first time I saw AJ wrestle. I said, Mike, this guy moves like Bam Bam. And so anyway, how are you today, sir?
I'm well. How you doing today?
I am doing well, man. I really do enjoy that show, and I think some point you might be bored in the break room. You might want to check out a segment or two. But hey, it's Wind Up Wednesday. We've got the NBA, we've got college basketball, both men and women, and we're going to jump right into the NBA Week in Review. Underperforming. The Nets continue to have problems, and Ben Simmons had this big return to Philly, and Kyrie's back, but I just don't know why they don't play well. Ben Simmons' big return to Philly, they took an L, and Philly didn't have Harden and didn't have Embiid, and it just was really, to me, Mike, a lot about Ben and not a lot about the Nets. You also have Kyrie coming back, and again, Kyrie can believe whatever he wants to believe. And I think sometimes the media tries to twist everything, like the Thanksgiving thing. He was interviewed about Thanksgiving, knowing that he doesn't celebrate it. And he talks about his Native American heritage. And why are we even asking about that at this point and at this time? So, Mike, any thoughts about either Ben Simmons, Kyrie, or more importantly, the Nets as a team still not clicking?
I think that, one, I agree with you. There is an issue, with everyone and the way they're doing Kyrie, like trying to trip him up, trying to get him in trouble, trying to make him say things. The Nets it's a bad makeup, man. It's just bad makeup for that team. It is. It's bad makeup. They got to. I don't think they should have came back the way they were before, but, I wouldn't have brought back the way we did this year. And I understand they're doing it for a money play, but I would have had to try to make some change, try to.
Yeah. All right. So Patrick Beverley was in the news this week. He was suspended for 3 games for forcefully shoving Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton when the big man wasn't looking and caused him to fall. Now, I saw the video. And Ayton stood over his teammate. I forgot the name of the gentleman who he stood over. Okay. So Patrick Beverley came to the defense of his teammate. Now, Mike, 1, have you seen the video? 2, do you buy my spin?
I think Pat Beverley didn't. I think the dude kind of overreacted. Can I say that?
Yeah. I
think the dude flopped. I think he pulled a LeBron. And no, seriously, I think he did. I think he pulled the LeBron on it. Pat Beverley was doing what he's supposed to do, but I think he could have did it a different way. Let's put it that way. He could have did it a different way. And the guy faked, and then he got suspended. But the Lakers need more than that. Unfortunately.
And the gentleman's name is Austin Reeves. Okay, Austin Reeves.
They need a lot more than that. Just Pat Bev playing tough ain't gonna help them.
Yeah. All right, it's not just Zion, man. The Clippers forward, Kawhi Leonard is feeling better, but there is no timetable on his return or Paul George's return. A lot of injuries, man. What are we doing in the off season? How are we like broke up this early in the season? Can you tell me that, Mike? Because there's a lot. And it's not like the Clippers was playing deep into the season last year. So,
But I told you my biggest over under. What was my over under this year? Zion,
45,
Kyrie, Kawhi, and Paul George. And where are we right now? Let's take a look.
It's November.
Okay.
And this is just not good, man.
No.
It's not good at all.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
What do we do? What do you do now?
I don't know, man, because I can't depend on John Wall and whoever else is playing on the Clippers.
I know. I know we make a lot of jokes, and I know that you're fully invested in wrestling, but the NBA is becoming more of the WWE, in my opinion. The storylines, the drama, like it's just what I see. I can compare the two. I can sit and watch my son, and then I can watch the Nets.
Yeah, it's a lot
I can
of
watch
noise.
Raw, or I can watch the Lakers. Like it's always something, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of a storyline here, the Jazz are planning for both short and long-term success. Now, there's no way I'm thinking they're going to sustain this, but they pretty much traded everybody last year. They traded Donovan Mitchell. They traded Rudy Gobert. They traded Bojan Bogdanovic. And they started off very well. Now, they're like 12-10 now, but the Jazz are signaling to other teams that they plan to keep Lauri Markkanen. They're going to keep Jordan Clarkson. And if you want anybody, you can take Mike Conley Jr. and Kelly Olynyk. I don't know what that's going to get you on the trade market, but they have started off well. Again, I'm not thinking they're going to sustain that, but man, kudos to their organization, their coaches. They're at least trying, where these other teams kind of not trying. Any thoughts, Mike? Because I know you loathe Utah, but you got to give them credit.
Kelly Olynyk.
That's who's available. They're going to keep these other guys, and they got all the draft picks. So they're young. They're defending every night. Defending, shocking. We'll talk about basketball second segment. But, man, I'm impressed with what the Jazz are doing right now.
And you would be. I told you, we know that's the greatest regular season organization in NBA
They're not
history.
going to win anything,
Yes,
but they're competing.
They're going to win it. They're going to win the regular season. Yay!
They're going to be in the playoffs.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
That's
about as far as I can go with it.
This from the guy who was just screaming 30 minutes ago, I'm putting the banner up. I'm wearing the ring.
I'm wearing the ring. That's what tomorrow's episode, ladies and gentlemen, talking about college football. All right. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast, where both Mike and I are going to share some current thoughts on basketball, get some reaction from people still in the day-to-day business like my partner here, and kind of talk me off the rail. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fallon Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Some future planning, because I don't know about my partner, but it's been a while since I've been to a Final Four. So here are the upcoming men's Final Four sites as well as the women. 2023, this is all men. Houston 2023, Phoenix 2024, San Antonio 2025, Indianapolis 2026, Detroit 2027, Vegas 2028, back to Indy in 2029, and North Texas, that's the Dallas area, back at Jerry's World in 2030. Mike, any of those cities you have fond memories of? Or any city that you're like, hey, I might actually try to go back?
Indianapolis, for sure.
I've always liked Indy, and I do the NCAA museum. Everything's indoors.
Yep, and everything's right. You blocks,
Connected.
you know, everything, man.
St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
First time I had Steak and Shake right around the corner. I think it was 12, maybe 2012. Was that the year it was Duke and
something like
Butler?
that? I can't go backwards. Now, I like visiting Houston because I have friends and family there, but I didn't like the Final Four there. Houston was too flat. Okay. Phoenix has a nice bus transway system. Love San Antonio and the Riverwalk. If anyone wants a vacation, forget the Final Four. San Antonio and the Riverwalk is an outstanding place. The Alamo just didn't do it for me. It was kind of small and nondescript. Did you go to the Alamo when you went to San Antonio, Mike? Or
no, never. No.
I like the people of Detroit, but most of the people were in Toronto when they went, and I didn't bring my passport. So I was wondering what was going on with the coaches. Where's everybody at? Toronto. Why are they there?
Everybody.
Vegas has the infrastructure to host the Final Four, so it will be in Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. I don't care about the hotel blocks. You're good wherever you stay.
Yeah.
So I'm penciling in that one. KJ's going to be 20 though on that one, and I'm trying to get him to a Final Four. We were supposed to go to Indy, but the COVID thing happened, so I think I'm going to try to sneak in Indy in 2026. Maybe San Antonio in 2025 because I love that place. But anyway, let's talk about the women's site. 2023 Dallas, 2024 Cleveland. I actually want to go to Cleveland because I want to do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame. They're about an hour apart. And I'm just, a fan. They're doing Tampa in 2025, Phoenix 2026, Columbus, Ohio in 2027. I don't know the deal with Ohio and women's basketball, but whatever. Indianapolis in 2028, San Antonio in 2029. They are going to Portland in 2030. And they'll be in North Texas in 2031. Reason why 2031 wasn't listed for the men is because Atlanta got passed over with the one they missed. So they're trying to do right by Atlanta. So that's my guess is Atlanta will be 2031.
But they moved Atlanta because the WNBA owner, right?
No. The Atlanta one was the one that was canceled.
Oh, because of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And you know how the routine goes. Every 4 years they do this. So if you didn't get into a cycle, so Atlanta didn't do anything wrong. And they that's a great Final Four. And I did the Martin Luther King trip and went to the CNN Center and Coke and all of that. So, all right. So there's your travel plans for the future. But now, Mike, I want to get into some coaching. It's early. I know it's early.
Too early.
But should these coaches be worried? And some of our private conversations will become public. So Jeff Capel's off to a slow start. Mark Fox is off to a slow start. Bobby Hurley is off to a slow start. Patrick Ewing, they lost to American.
Yeah, I think he all right. Oh well.
Well, I think he'll be all right too. Jared Haas is off to a slow start. Kevin Keats, Chris Collins, Billy
Oof.
Lang,
Mm.
Chris Mooney at Richmond, Josh Pastner at Georgia Tech, Mike Bray off to a slow start. Brad Bromwell at Clemson, we talked about him in the preseason, and his name keeps coming up. That's not good. And Mike Hopkins at Washington, but he's got a job for life waiting for him at Syracuse. So out of any of those cats that I mentioned, anybody should be worried. It's kind of early, but you got off to a good start.
Mm. Yeah, I'm trying to think who we. Yeah. I think it's too early for them. I wouldn't worry. Well, probably the most secure to me. The most secure probably is Bob Hurley, and the guy at Washington. The expectations aren't that.
Mike Hopkins is that
Mike Hopkins, yeah, it's he's fine. Those
Okay.
two are fine.
Okay. Now on the court, and it's about time we actually talk about some things on the court. Okay, so here's some early season thoughts, and here's the background. Fans, I haven't coached regular season, postseason, whatever, since 2013. That's when I really got hot and heavy with my doctoral work. So it's coming up on 10 years. And now that everything's done and we're shifting and we're doing other things, I have more time to really, really, really invest back in basketball. I never left it, but now I can invest a little more. And I had a chance to spend some time a couple of weeks ago with a former player of mine. Shout out Eric Johnson and all the folks at Georgetown Prep. And I get a chance to talk to Mike, and I'm around following, and we're all in a group chat with myself following and Will Codden of the show, and Mike's still coaching. So I wanted you to know where all of this came from. And when I'm in Vegas, I had a chance to watch North Carolina play multiple games for entertainment purposes only, of course. I had a chance to watch Memphis play. I had a chance to watch Duke play. I've been to high school practices. I'm like around it more than I have been since 2013. And here's some things I saw. I saw a lot of turnovers. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to see turnovers. I'm not saying turnovers are eliminated, but I saw a lot, Mike, a lot. And I saw bad time and score. And that's a coaching thing. That's an execution thing. I saw a lot of missed free throws like it was a bet of who could miss the most. A lot of floaters. And again, I'm not anti-floaters, but I saw a lot of misses on those floaters. And then a lack of finishing around the basket. So I text Mike and I text my friends. And, before I get into the thoughts of the high school and college coaches that I talked to, Mike, can you share with our audience some of the things you shared with me about why I'm seeing what I'm seeing?
Really? I mean, I think the coaches aren't controlling their teams anymore. I think from what I look at, it's almost like you have to let them do anything they want so they won't transfer on you. And a lot of guys aren't willing to step up and really, have guys play the right way. You talk about turnovers, like a part of me dies every time a kid makes a turnover. Like it,
Yes.
and they just don't value the basketball anymore.
I'm melting in the seat.
And you talking about a guy, we were up 9 in the Final Four of the state of Maryland, up 9 in the Final Four, and had 7 straight possessions where 4 of them we turned the ball over. And it was like, and I'm like, oh, I just lose it. I can't stand it. And I tell our guys all the time, me, man, set your standard. I told them in practice yesterday, set your standard. It doesn't matter who you playing against. Tell yourself that you're not going to turn the ball over and be strong and don't force it and think that way for the team first. I'm not going to turn the ball over because active live ball turnovers create layups on the other side. Nothing else.
Yeah. So I reached out to a lot of my buddies.
Ooh, I'm still.
I know, and that's why I want to get. I'm going
I
to
got a
go
headache.
through these,
I
and
got a
then I want to
headache.
get your response
He gave me a
from
headache.
that. So, a very prominent
Hmm.
Division One assistant coach, when I asked the same questions, said, "Coach, guys work out one-on-one with trainers more than they play 5-on-5, so they're not getting the conceptualization of what it's like with 10 guys on the court."
Whose fault is that?
Again, that was I'm not trying to be old man, get off my lawn. I can understand that answer.
I would
Okay.
be.
I understood what that is because that does happen. A prominent private school coach said, high school coach said, this has all been a part of the game, but he thinks defense is better. So it's not as easy as before. And then he made me laugh. And he said, remember, we've never had so much good November hoops. Gone are the days of Georgetown and Syracuse playing 13 home games and being 13-0 against nobodies. And I said, you know what? You're right. Okay. So I got the trainer piece, and we're not anti-trainers. I'm just anti-cones, but that's another story for another day. Teams are playing each other earlier in the season, and they're good games in terms of playing good competition. So you're not doing what Syracuse and Big John used to do, playing teams with the hyphens and so forth.
St. Leo, baby.
St. Leo. And last but not least, a prominent public high school coach said to me point blank, he said, Keith, kids are more selfish these days, and they have trouble making decisions on the fly because they haven't had to make decisions on the fly. Everything's kind of scripted for them.
Yes.
So, Mike, any thoughts on college coach, private school coach, high school coach, pretty much saying the same thing?
They're all saying the same thing because it's true. These kids are a little more selfish, but who let them be selfish? What created the selfishness? You know what I mean? What has created the selfishness?
So I'd like to end and just give just some advice for me to the coaches and the players out there. And this is mainly to the coaches because Mike is 100% right. You only do what you're allowed to do on the court. You only
Exactly.
do what you're allowed to do. So I'm really talking to coaches. One, you got to cut down on the dribbling because what the dribbling does is there's a lot of standing
Oh my
on the
God.
court. There's a lot of standing. And the teams that are winning because those guys are cutting to the basket and they're moving. But when you got that one guy pounding, and I'm watching the games and I'm watching good teams, and I'm like, this dude is killing everyone because everything grinds to a halt when you're pounding that
God does it.
basketball. All
Does it.
right. And it just
Does
is a
it.
lot of standing. And heck, man, our offense was called motion because we wanted you to move.
Right.
So anyway, we've got to increase off-ball movement. We've got to keep them going, even if it's an interchange. Just you got to get the defense to do something.
Got
So
to.
I'm thinking a lot of these bad shots are what the coach said. The defense is better because the defense didn't have to move. They're
Nope.
standing right there. So you're dribbling into 4 other guys who never had to move because their guys on offense are just standing still. And on the flip side with defense, please learn how to defend without help. Man, between the bad zone and the help, you're not going to see a lot of that at March when it's on the line. So
You won't even see the help. Like it's
can you defend without help? Because if you're a team that says, I'm looking for the dude, Mike, that says, I got him. Like on the court. No. He scored too much. I got him. So any thoughts before we close this segment? And again, I appreciate my partner letting the old man talk a little bit about basketball.
No, but you're right. And I feel the same way, man. I just it burns me up to see these turnovers, man. And I just like they don't have to, like you trying too much. And I know it's early, and even in practice yesterday, I'm telling guys, look, man, we got 2 pretty good guards, but I'm telling them, hey, y'all gotta learn to play with each other, play off each other. One of y'all can take a rest, the other can get it. Like, move the balls. We get you both on the opposite sides of the floor because they both can really shoot it. If we get you guys both on the opposite side of the floor, we all right, but we standing still and we pounding the ball. Move the ball in exchange. I promise you, and we split the teams, we move the ball, we exchange. They ran out on him as soon as he caught it. He skipped past, got wide open shot. I'm like, hey, guys, the ball went from side to side and you made the defense move, not just trying to dribble through 4 or 5 people and make a play. Like, you're working too hard. You know what I mean? You work too hard doing that.
Well, fans, and again, mainly for coaches, the CKA Save Project does do a coaches consulting service where we go out and we will, if you're in driving range, we'll come to you, watch your practice, and then watch a game, and then give you feedback. So we'll give you feedback on your practice, then we'll give you feedback on your game. We do this remotely through video as well. Get us on your Huddle account, because the instruction is what's kind of the gap is missing. In addition, my partner, Coach Francis, in the 5 minutes of free time he had, continues to give back, and he's reaching out on social media about different sets and different concepts. So you'll see you'll see me out more than Mike because he's on a team right now. But this was just great to be able to just give back, and kind of excited about seeing more and more basketball as the year goes on. But yeah, I was paused, Mike, and I had to find an answer of why. I need to know why it was that way without being screaming and hollering, and being able to talk to so many coaches on so many levels to get their insight. Man, there's a second book coming out, I'm sure. I got to write that leadership book. And we'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 3, we will talk about the current week ahead in the NBA and college sports.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3. I love talking about partner between segments. Shout out JJ. We're going to talk about the upcoming week in the NBA and in college, give you some things to look at. And let's start with the Eastern Conference. Top 3. Again, same old 3. Boston, Bucks, Cavs. They're trudging along. Middle 3 has changed. Raptors are 7. The Wizards are 8, and the Wizards have been 6 for like the last 2 weeks. And the Knicks are 9. I don't know what's going on with the Washington Wizards. I just know Bradley Beal gets sick every week. And then the bottom 3 hadn't changed: Charlotte, Orlando, Detroit. This week, fans, again, keep an eye on Indiana. Keep an eye on Boston. They have been playing the best in the league over the last 10 games. Any thoughts on the Eastern Conference,
sir? Boston seems to be the class of the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Them and Milwaukee, top 2. No one else really matters after that. You know what I mean? Everybody else is fighting for third, I guess you can say. But I'll take those 2 over anybody. Really disappointed in Philly.
Really should be. Should be.
Yeah. Disappointed in Philly, disappointed in Detroit.
They're really bad. So in the Western Conference, top 3, it's a different 3. Phoenix, Denver, and New Orleans is 3, baby. Zion's playing games.
I might have lost that over under. That's
They're
1 out
going
of
to
5.
slow down. I think it's going to be a push myself
1 out of
because
5.
46
It's a
to
long way.
59.
It's a long way.
That's where we're even. So middle 3, 7 is the Clippers, 8's the Jazz. See, I told you the Jazz ain't staying up there. And 9 is Minnesota. And the bottom 3, that hasn't changed either. Lakers, Spurs, and Houston. Keep an eye this week on Sacramento. They're playing some good basketball. Keep an eye this week on Golden State. They're starting to play some much better basketball. Any thoughts on the Western Conference, sir?
Lakers are a big disappointment. Pretty much that's it. I'm not even going to talk about your favorite Utah Jazz. We're going to skip that one. And then Phoenix, how does Phoenix get, like, it's always something. Like, I don't, you're laughing at me. I mean, you know where I'm going with it, though. Like,
Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, and wherever he goes, something good happens. And it
and
goes
something
back to
bad
what we
happens,
said. Goes back
right?
to what you said, man. Guard play, man. They got
Yeah.
good guard play.
Yes.
And the guards get everybody involved.
But how do they get over the hump?
I don't know, because this is a long season, and something always tends to happen in the postseason. But the game of basketball is not a complicated one. If everybody does their job, you kind of win. And the Suns got guys hitting shots. They got a big that like actually wants to be a big. It's
Right?
amazing. It's amazing when a big wants to defend the basket and rebound and eat, finishing plays and miss it. And I ain't got to call a lot of stuff for you. And I ain't got to pat you on the back. And I ain't got to hug you every 5 seconds, But now you're going to get me excited. So we're going to move on to the college roundup. Yeah, get Coach Adams started. Love bigs. Okay. So I want you to start keeping an eye on these men's teams. And every week, as we get more and more into the season, we're just going to tell you folks to keep an eye on, because March will be here before we know it. And then you're going to say, what? Where these teams come from? So we're just going to run down. Keep an eye on Houston, Kansas State. Keep an eye on St. John's men. Keep an eye on UConn, man. Indiana, Maryland. They're doing well, Mike. Keep an eye on Yale.
Maryland won the preseason tournament, right?
Yeah, they won. They're winning games. Keep an eye on Yale, Quinnipiac, Drake, UNLV, Arizona, Missouri is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and Sam Houston. Again, strictly for entertainment purposes only, but keep an eye on them. On the women's side, keep an eye on Virginia, Notre Dame, Creighton, St. John's. St. John's men and women are both playing well same time. Same thing in Indiana. Penn State women. They're doing some work, Mike. And again, strictly for entertainment purposes only, as we sit on the couch.
You said, as
Michigan.
we sit on the couch. Now, as of last Wednesday.
San Diego State, UNLV, UCLA women, Arizona, USC, Utah, Arkansas. And although I do not like the coach, LSU's women are playing very well. Okay, Kim Mulkey didn't say nothing about Brittany. I'm still kind of salty about that, because again, if one of my players is out, I'm screaming, man, every day.
Off the air.
Okay, I'm screaming like every day.
All
right, games of the week. Friday in the NBA, Miami's playing Boston, and Indiana is playing Utah. I'm kind of going to keep an eye on those 2 games a little more than some other games. On Saturday, Sacramento's playing the Clippers. Portland's playing Utah. Again, strictly for entertainment purposes only. Men's college basketball on Friday, Baylor's playing Gonzaga, and Illinois is coming to town to play Maryland.
Friday night game, baby.
Friday night. Interesting. Okay.
Late, too. Late. I think it's like 9 p.m.
Man, I might have to hit Tony's skin up, see if he can help me out. But anyway, I digress. Saturday, Florida State's playing Virginia. Reason why I like that game is, one, Leonard Hamilton's like 75 years old and he looks great. His teams always are well prepared. So I'm not going to see a bunch of crap. And I like what Tony Bennett's done. Tony Bennett got his thing going on at UVA. He recruits a certain way, his teams play a certain way, and they're in the mix every year. And then St. Mary's is playing Houston. Houston plays in the American, and they're not going to get as much bump as maybe some other conferences. St. Mary's plays in the West Coast with Gonzaga. They're not going to get as much bump. So I'm kind of interested in that game for that reason. On the women's side, Friday, December 2nd, Creighton is playing Villanova. Creighton's women's playing very well, and so is Villanova.
Yes.
And Saturday, a little local flavor. Americans traveling to Mason. So, see a little local flavor. And then starting Monday, December 5th, fans, if you follow me on social media at Odd Coaches and at CKA Save Project, but this will be on at Odd Coaches, I'm going to give a daily 5 now that the state of Maryland has sports betting, and I can do it from the comfort of my own home in the studio. So take a look for that, and we'll see how we do. Again, strictly for entertainment purposes only. I bet $5 a game on daily 5 and 10 on football to the postseason, and then I up it to 15. And for the Super Bowl, wait for it, $20. Go out there, okay? Now my partner, he bets. I'll just say he bets a little more than I do, and that's okay because
I bet the free bets. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting the free bets. That's it.
Mike, anything you'd like to say before we close out our Wind Up Wednesday episode?
Yes, sir. Thank you, DraftKings, for the 8 free bets and actually following through on what you said. Unlike sports FanDuel, who lied and told, well, you didn't opt in. I opted in for everything, the $1, the $5, the $100, and they say couldn't find a record of it. But DraftKings took care of me. I appreciate you. It's great. It's easier to find. It's easier to get bets, and I love the way they push out the little parlays from everyone.
And they're setting you up, man. They're setting you up.
Hey, as long as they free right now and I'm making money off of it, I'm fine. I wake up last 3 days and every day I had more money in my account than when I went to sleep. I can't be mad.
So fans, on behalf of my tag team partner, Vinny the Shark, I'm Dr.
Forget about it.
Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care. And again, it's strictly for entertainment purposes only.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.